we're in the middle of a Demm report, and it started a minute ago with him saying that Finland is the happiest country on earth. Mm-hmm. And I said, United States ranked 15th
in the latest survey.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I find it an interesting conversation because I think since September 11th, which was 20-something years ago, 22 years ago now, that changed a lot. I think it changed our mindset, and we became more. At one point, we got really united. Then we got really distrustful of each other. The politics went completely sideways. If you're a Democrat and I'm a Republican, we can't see eye to eye on anything. I think and I think we fight a lot. And then yesterday, of course, we had another school shooting, which was so awful. 3 9-year-old children are killed at a private school by someone who is a female shooter who went to that school and held a grudge against the school, we think, and went in there and then killed 3 teachers as well, 3 faculty members in their 60s. And it's just so senseless and such a waste. And, I told myself when this happened yesterday, now, sometimes this has happened and we've gotten onto the guns. Is it the guns' fault? Should we, people say arm the teachers and all that kind of stuff. And there's a caller here named Ringo who's on the phone. And we recorded the call, and he says something that I agree with. And I am in the minority amongst friends of mine, and I have really good friends of mine who I respect and like who take the opposite view of this. But I'm going to play his call, and I think he sums it up really, really well when something like this happens. Ringo.
I just was hearing you say that the problem was in Uvalde, and then it was also in churches, and it was also in grocery stores. And the common thing there is the guns that we have access to. They're able to travel with the human being that purchased them through legal means, and we allow people to possess as many guns as they want. We're one of the few countries in the world that does that. We have more guns on average than human beings in the United States. So I don't know how we can't deny the fact that this is a problem. I'm sure you're familiar with The Onion, the satirical online newspaper article, and every single time a school shooting or a mass shooting happens, they post the headline, and I'm paraphrasing, but it says, "No way to prevent this, says only country where this happens."
I mean, I think he's right. I think he's right. Now, a lot of this audience disagrees with me, and a lot of my friends disagree with me. But I think every time this happens, I'm with the people that stand on the podium and say, do something. Stop offering us thoughts and prayers and do something. Yeah. Because we're sick to death of it. Wow.
But, what you're going to run into is, the counter argument is, it's in the Constitution.
That's right. That's right.
It's one of the very few things that's literally in the Constitution.
And we talk about this
now,
country.
You can talk about your interpretation of what the Second Amendment is.
That's right. That's right.
But the people who disagree with Ringo will say you need to be armed because of the crazies.
And they will say that sometimes, like in towns where the people own the most guns, you have the least crime. And that's right. And this country was founded on that.
On the gun.
On the gun.
The West was won with the gun.
And that's our mentality for 250 years.
And it's about being American and being able to protect yourself from the government.
That's right.
Who could take you over. And I say it's probably even carried over to protecting the country from other countries who sit there and say, we could fly into America, but you know what? They've all got guns.
They've all got guns.
So there's a protection thing there too. But checking people out, I think, is one of the things. I don't know why anybody would be against having a test and a waiting period for a gun.
I agree.
I don't understand why that doesn't happen. Why don't you take a mental test? And they have a mental. Well, then don't give them a damn gun. It's pretty simple stuff. I'm not saying to take the guns away. Keep your guns. Have as many as you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
But half of this room have been in the wrong end of a gun, and that's.
That's a good point. That's good.
Yeah,
you got shot in a. You were just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And Chris Demm had a gun put in his face when he was 16, 17 years old.
Right.
That's a good point.
It's not about taking away your guns. It's about letting responsible people have them.
Yeah.
And if you are a responsible gun owner, you should be for that. You should want responsibility from other people.
And, I always say this, and then callers, every time this happens, I'll say it, and callers will say, you don't know what you're talking about on assault weapons. This woman that went into that school yesterday had an assault rifle. I don't know why anybody needs that powerful of a gun. I always say that, too. You want a hunting rifle to go out and hunt deer? Hey, have at it. You want a handgun to protect yourself at home? Totally agree. But those types of guns, it just seems like. But then Biggie always tells, because there have been so many shootings, we've hashed this out a million times.
Yeah.
And Biggie always says it's to protect yourself from the government. And then Biggie always says, yes, but if a government wants to take your house, they're taking it. Yeah. They are sending the tanks.
They got bigger guns.
But that's why the the Second Amendment advocates would say we need the weapons because if we don't want to be outgunned by the government.
Yeah. But don't you think? I think that now that 240-something years have passed since that Constitution was written, we are in a different place than we were then.
Some would say now, no, that we're the most unsafe we've been. People don't trust the government.
More than ever.
More than ever. I think you'd have the opposite. I think people would say, no, I don't trust the government. And that comes from both sides.
And it's funny this started with you talking about Finland. I don't think they have these kinds of conversations in Finland. They're just
no,
probably not. I really know nothing about Finland.
I don't think they have a lot of guns.
Most European nations, guns are illegal.
Yeah, for the citizen wouldn't have the gun. But listen, there's a completely opposite viewpoint that most people I know have and take, and they're with they're talking about what you're talking about.
But there is an in between. I think people need to know that there is an in between. There's not no guns and then tons of guns. There's a middle ground you can find where everybody's happy, but nobody wants to go in the middle to find it.
It's so hard now, though. I think Dave, I agree with you, but Chris Demm is right too. If a Democrat wins the presidency, everybody goes to buy a gun. If a Republican wins the presidency, everybody goes to buy a gun. If a school shooting happens today, there'll probably be gun sales will be up because people say, "Oh, they're going to come get my guns."
Well, because I think what we're shifting to is not as much how can we stop the guns as we need more good people with guns.
With guns, yeah.
So I think you're going to see more the questions. I mean, we've done this dance enough. I've said it in 2012 when it happened at Sandy Hook. That didn't change anything. This ain't going to change anything. None of this is moving to me anymore.
Well, and another reason I think that people would be reluctant to make any modifications to gun ownership, Second Amendment, because it is literally in the Constitution.
Yes.
Very few other things are like that.
Yes.
Literally in the Constitution.
Yes.
Is that I bet a lot of people think, I can't rely on the government. I can't rely on the government to protect me. The government's not looking out for me.
Yeah. Right.
Who's going to look out for me?
Right.
Only me.
I have to I have to do it.
Yeah.
Advocate for myself.
Yeah.
Have a gun. But isn't what being said here, though, the gun lobby, the NRA, is the most powerful lobby there is.
Without a doubt.
And Republican lawmakers will not change things because they won't get the money from the NRA.
They can't change the Constitution. I mean, it would take the United States to change the Constitution.
But Democrats often will push for heavier gun laws and
types of bans,
and Republicans will say no, and their pockets are filled by the NRA.
I mean, the argument started immediately last night. It was as soon as the shooting happened, it was, we got to do something about quote unquote assault rifles, and it became, well, one, they're not assault rifles. Don't call them that.
That's what they'll say to me.
That's always. We've done this dance enough to know.
So sad because here we have these 6 lives lost
before we even know their names or what they look like. We all retreat to our corners and go.
I know.
More guns or less guns.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, Dave's right.
Yeah.
It's either we need way more guns or we need way fewer.
It makes you sick. I mean, days like that just make you sick, especially at schools. I mean, it's one thing when somebody goes into Walmart, and that's bad enough, and guns down 20 people, that's terrible too. Yeah. But when you hear little babies who've done nothing to anybody, and the last moments of their lives are seeing this person, this evil person stand there with an assault rifle.
With no mom, no dad, it's the worst.
God, it is just gut-wrenching. Yeah. I mean, it really is. I just hate it.
I think it's, again, you see it and you go, but then we move on.
Of course,
because we're just numb to it.
Nothing will happen.
This time next week,
we will watch the funerals happen, and nothing will change. We will all go back to our lives.
You just
and we'll
hope
do it
it's
all
not
again.
your school. You hope it's not your kid's school.
And Chris Demm and I said that before the show started. He said, "I have, my nephew. I have my nieces. I worry about.
Of course, you do.
But you know what I find myself doing now? Hoping.
That's
all you can
all
do.
We got." We're not going to do anything. Nothing's going to change. So
what's the line you've always heard? Hope is not a strategy.
So that's why I'm sorry when I hear people embattled tears and all this. I am unmoved at this point by anybody's comments, opinions on guns, anything.
Because when you send kids, and I have 2 kids of my own, and you send them to school every day,
you just hope.
And this is a reminder that it could happen at any point, anywhere, anytime.
And I'll tell you a big relief, and I don't mean this to sound bad to people that have kids in school, but a big relief was when both of my kids graduated from school.
Of course,
when they were out of school,
agree.
That's not to say it couldn't have happened in college, it couldn't have happened in a theater.
Yes.
But I mean, when you are confined to somewhere you can't leave, I mean, it's the closest thing to prison is going to school.
That's right.
That's right. I was glad when they were out of there. I was like, well, that's one thing I don't have to worry about.
I agree with you 100%
anymore. And I hate to say that because there's kids out there.
Right. I'll be very glad when my kids are out of college because at least, somebody could walk into their workplace.
Sure.
But at least it's because the schools seem to be the popular target, and it's the worst. I mean, it is the worst when you see that on television. It's the worst thing we have going on in this country. And when you read those numbers, that you have more mass shootings than days of the year, it's awful.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you going to say about that?
And fair enough. Some of those are domestic, where
yes, but
where
it's
it happens
4
at a home
people. It's 4 people or more is a mass shooting.
Exactly.
That's big, and it's not just like we're in day 85 of the year and it's been 85. It's like almost double the days.
That's it is.
They do. I watch CBS Sunday Morning, and they now have taken to putting up a slide at the end of the shows. Here's our gun deaths for
this
the year,
week and this year,
and it's like suicide by gun and mass shootings, and the numbers are huge. It's just enormous. I mean, I just hate to see it. John, you wanted to comment on this. I thought this morning when this happened, let's don't get off on guns, but sometimes you just see something on the news and you're like, my God. And I know we try to be fun and upbeat in here, but dang, it hurts. It's a kick in the gut. John, go ahead.
Yeah, well, here's my point on it. So guns are what created this country. They're what gave us our freedom. Mm-hmm. So the guns have been here the entire time of this country. So what's changed? What's changed in the last 20 years? Now, it is terrible. Nobody wants to see this happen, but what is the true cause? It's not the guns. It's the people. It's the morals. It's the family structures that have been torn down. That's the true issues, but nobody wants to address it. Everybody wants to blame it on the guns. We need to look at what's really going on in this country.
How can we get those morals back? I think that the morals are less than and the family structure is less than what they were. What can we do about that?
That I don't know. I mean, they've taken God out of everything. They've taken responsibility and accountability out of everything. And how do we get it back? I don't know.
I don't. The responsibility and accountability, I'm not sure of that either. I don't know. I think we are not as God-fearing as we once were, and the country
Some
was.
people don't believe in God, and that's part of this country.
That's fine too.
But there are plenty of countries that are not religious per se,
and they don't have shootings.
Yeah.
And they don't have shootings. Mm-hmm. That's right.
There are plenty of countries that have divorce rates. Mm-hmm. They don't have.
They don't have this
issue.
That's right. That's true too. And people say the country was founded on guns.
It wasn't founded on guns. It was founded on freedom of religion and hope and happiness and doing what you want, and being free from under the thumb of government or a king.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
It wasn't found for guns.
Yeah, but there was a Revolutionary War.
I understand that, and that was part of it from both sides.
But could you say, if I say it was founded on guns, well, we also were on horseback then too. We've, things change in 250 years.
That's right.
We're not riding horses anymore.
And people lived till they were 40.
Right. I mean,
so
a
lot of things
have changed. And I had one of the best teachers I ever had, talked about the Constitution as an ever-changing document. You can change it if you want to, and that's the greatness of it. You can add to it. We've added amendments to it over the years.
Sure.
So you could look at the Second Amendment and change it, tweak it if you wanted to. Have times changed enough? But people really do go there. They rely on that Second Amendment.
And look, people always say, we've taken God out of this and that. You know what's changed in 20 years? Technology, social media. I mean, you can reach more people. You can talk to more people. You can be influenced by more.
There's a lot of influence.
I think that's a big part of it, too, that people are influenced much more.
Well, this woman that did the shooting yesterday tweeted out that she's going to die today and she's going to go out. This happened shortly before she went in and did the killing,
Adios.
Lynn, you're talking about guns now. Go ahead.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I was just saying, there's nothing in this country that's going to take away the guns. America's too in love with their guns.
Agreed. And there are a lot of them out there. Yeah, I agree.
So what we need to do is treat guns the way we treat cars. You have to have a license in order to own a gun, to have a gun. You've got to pass a test in order to get that. You have to carry insurance on your gun so that if your gun is used to kill someone or there's an accident, then there's a monetary penalty there.
Yeah. Interesting idea. I can agree with that. I mean,
I think you'd find I don't know the statistics, but I'm sure tons of gun crimes and deaths are caused by stolen guns.
Absolutely, by stolen guns.
Well, true too.
So I don't know how you punish.
Yep.
someone who keeps, a gun in a gun safe. You know what I've read over the weekend is that gun thefts are skyrocketing in pickup trucks. Gun thieves look for Second Amendment stickers. They look for God, guns, and gut stickers on trucks. Break into the trucks because that's where the guns are.
They know a gun is
in the
there.
console, they're in the glove compartment.
Yeah.
Wow. They know that the gun is there.
Or it says on the truck, concealed carry.
Right.
Yeah. I heart concealed carry.
So you know there's a gun
There's
there.
a target.
So you go get the gun.
So those are the vehicles getting broken into. So, if that gun is then used in the commission of a crime, it may not be the pickup truck owner fault.
Right.
I think it is for not securing the gun properly.
But if you lock it in
Someone
your
broke
trunk
into his
and
car.
somebody
Keep
breaks
it on
in.
your person so nobody steals it.
But you can't take it into all the businesses.
I think
that's
that's an irresponsible gun owner.
Even to have it in his
Don't
trunk.
you think if somebody goes into your house and steals the gun,
That's an
and
irresponsible?
if it's not in a gun safe,
You got to put it in a safe.
Yeah.
Because it's impossible to get out of a
That's
safe.
right, and you should be a
to.
part of the law. That should be a part of the trial when it goes to trial. You are responsible for that. If a kid steals it,
That's pretty.
Well, this is my dad's gun.
Yeah.
Well, then your dad should be responsible for that because he didn't
Well-
properly put. And if you're a gun owner, you should want that.
So
You
it's-
should want responsible gun ownership.
It's a tough law, but it's
it's
but
tough.
you know that when you buy it.
Wouldn't you be more responsible if you knew damn good and well that somebody's going to break into your truck or your car and steal your gun?
I think I would.
I
yeah.
think I would too.
think-
And if
yeah.
you're going to be responsible for it, I'm not telling you take the gun. Keep the damn guns.
Right.
Have all the guns you want.
But
But
if-
you've got to have laws
you,
for that.
You are so if you're in a truck and you have a gun and you're going into a bar that you can't take the gun into,
Then leave it at home.
you can't have it with you. But then if that person gets carjacked, you say I didn't have my gun because I wasn't allowed.
Yeah,
to.
it's the what ifs, Dave. That's why people travel with them.
If you've got a gun, you're responsible for it.
Period.
I don't care. I don't care if you want to leave it in your truck, somebody steals it, you're responsible for it. That's fine. Then that's fine. Keep it there. If it gets stolen and somebody uses it, it's your fault. You're at fault
You're at
too.
fault.
I'm not sure that would hold up.
I don't care. I think
In
that's the
court.
way it has to be, and you have to have this tougher laws like that.
That
I'm
would
not
be-
telling you
that'd be
take the
tough.
gun away. I'm saying you're responsible for it.
Mark, you wanted to comment on this. Go ahead.
Yes, good morning. This
Morning.
is P1 from Nebraska.
Oh, thank you for listening to Nebraska. We appreciate it.
Love the show, guys. Now, I am a concealed carry permit holder.
Mm-hmm.
I am also a CDL driver with a hazmat endorsement. Now, it was easier to get my concealed carry permit than it is to keep my CDL driver's license. Every 3 years, I have to go visit the FBI to make sure I am still mentally capable of hauling oxygen. Now, you tell me if the laws, like I said, we had a shooting a while back in Omaha, and the kid's uncle got on television and said they sold him an assault rifle 3 days before he did the shooting. And you fill out an application, and on that application is a question. Have you ever had a mental breakdown? Are you going to mark yes on that?
Of course not. It's the tantamount to a kid getting on. You go on a computer. Say, are you 18 years old? Yes. I mean, that's all there is to it.
And
Of
there's the
course.
porn.
Of
You know,
course.
I hate to keep belaboring this point, but the only counter argument would be trucks aren't in the Constitution. Guns are.
Thank you, Mark.
I mean, it's
Thank
the
you.
Constitution. It's the document.
Well, it is, but his point on that kid that bought that gun, I mean, it
3 days
should take
before.
something, a test.
the winds are blowing the other way. I mean, the winds are now blowing. You don't need anything to carry a weapon.
Are they really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there are fewer, there's permitless carry laws going up.
Yeah.
Is it Florida?
Yeah, I mean, there's more push for good guys with guns, and it's like, well, let's not. The bad guys are going to get the guns, so let's stop the laws from keeping the good guys.
That's
from
always
getting
the
them.
argument.
Yeah,
bad
but
guys
that-
are getting them no
yes.
matter what.
Exactly. They're going to break
So-
into the trucks. They're
So
going to break into
basically,
the houses.
It's saying, well, we know there's good people, but we're not going to make them wait for guns either because the bad guys are going to go buy them illegally. So we're going to take all monitoring away.
You
And
know,
make all those people responsible that own those guns.
6 months from now, we're going to have this.
Look, my gun's
same
in a
story.
gun safe, but if somebody comes in and steals my safe,
Well,
and
then
then
how can they get it out of the
How they
safe?
get it out of the
That's just
safe?
You can't get it out of the safe, can you?
I would hope not, but who knows? I mean, you blowtorch that thing, you do what you
Prove
got to
that in
do.
court.
It's like an ATM. You can't get
Yeah.
that out of there. You'd think. You'd hope. All right, Heroin Scott. One more call on it. Go ahead.
It's very simple. I agree with a lot of what Dave said. You do testing. You do IQ test, aptitude, emotional mental test. If you don't have an IQ of above 90, you don't need a gun, just like you shouldn't be able to vote without an IQ over 90 or above, because that's an average IQ. If you can't make informed decisions, which you need a 90 IQ to do, you should not own a gun or vote.
Wow.
What about the voting part? There's a lot of people in Congress that don't have that 90.